That was fucking loud. Hello, everybody, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Wednesday, February 28th, 2017. I am Michael Schwahn. I'm going to try and get in the chat. I was unable to get into there because I was too busy trying to make sure that my ears didn't die, thanks to how ungodly loud that was. I apologize to everybody. Nathan is still out. He is still sick, so you are stuck with me and my ugly mug today, if you are watching the video version. Live 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday on Facebook and YouTube. Otherwise, you can, of course, catch the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Help support it. Patreon.com/dailyinternet. Send us your stories on Reddit, which is reddit.com/r/iReaditcast, or via email, which is feedback.ireddit@gmail.com. Is there another way to get this open? I hate this little window that it generates. Yeah, awesome. I really dislike the weird little, window that pops up for Facebook. It's garbage. It sucks. So, either way, that is dealt with and done. So I am here. You are with me and me alone, as well as the chat room, which I will respond to without question. Again, I gave this warning and, precursor last time. If you are watching live or watching the video version, I do take breaks to take a drink of water, so there is normally, a moment of silence, like this one. But if you download the show and listen to the audio-only version, whether it's on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever else, I take the silence out, truncate it all down, so you will not have those long, awkward silences while I quaff some delightful H2O. So welcome, everybody. We have a full roster of news for you today. I am doing quite well. Unfortunately, my co-host is not. He is still quite under the weather, although he did manage to go to work today, so that's a bonus. But he's still quite sick. He has decided that he was like, I think I'll do the show. And I was like, you sure, buddy? He's like, no, I think I'm going to go home, down a bottle of cough medicine, and pass the fuck out. And I was like, you know what? Cool, you do that. You do that. You go home, you be sick, you pass the fuck out, and hopefully you feel better tomorrow. If not, I will be back tomorrow, and maybe Nathan will be back in around next week. We do have some people that we are talking to right now, other podcasts that we are going to be doing some collaboration work, hopefully in the near future, so you should be seeing some guests be joining us relatively soon. Our guest slots are Monday and Wednesday. That is because normally those days I'm able to get home earlier than Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so it gives me time to prep the guests, talk to them, go over some things, etc., etc. If you or anyone you know is interested in being a guest on this podcast, let us know. Again, you can always just send it to us on any form of social media. We are at iReaditcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Find us on all of those and be like, yo, I got some shit to say to you about bullshit. And I'd be like, oh, yeah? All right. Well, let's talk about how to make that happen. Yeah. So, just be aware of that. So, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see who we are actually able to get on the show. Pretty excited about one of them. We'll see. We're trying. We're continuing to grow. And send us any other merchandise ideas that you have. We talked about some at the end of the show yesterday, such as the shirt that just says shirt on it. Feel free to steal these ideas if you think you can sell them better than we can. Also because I'm fucking demotivated when it comes to trying to do graphics design because I hate it. But we don't have anyone else that can do it. So guess who gets to do it? It's me! We also want to make a Sucks to Suck shirt, an Allegedly shirt, a Crooked Picture Frame shirt, or just design, whatever. It could probably go on a hat and other things as well. But most of it's always shirts, right? Right? Anyway, whatever. I talked for an hour yesterday by myself. If anyone wants to tell me to shut the fuck up today, you are welcome to do so. That is understandable. I didn't mean to go. Normally I was like, I'll do a show by myself. I can probably make it shorter, probably 30 minutes, roll through some stuff. And then fucking Joe was in the chat room and wanted to talk about gun control. It is like, fine! And that made the show go from an intended 20, 30 minutes of me yakking my ass off to an hour. So, let's see what happens today. He's not in the chat room yet. We'll see. But I do see one of our other very conservative friends, Mr. Chadwick, who has been on the show. He also is generally somebody who likes to throw the wrench into the conversation, which is appreciated. We appreciate you. We appreciate differing views here as long as you are not infringing on anybody in terms of their freedoms or their right to live a free and happy life. Everything else is, of course, up for debate. But let's go ahead and, of course, immediately Chadwick, shut the fuck up. He says he hasn't been here a couple days, so go ahead. Well, thank you, sir. With your blessing, then we will go ahead and get into the news. We'll see if this is louder now.
5.
Oh yeah, nice and loud. God damn it! I fucked all the audio up like a week and a half ago. It's still fucked up. Oh damn it! Anyway, Dolly Parton donates the 100 millionth book to children. This was submitted by Panda 911 to our books. So, if you don't know, for how fucking long, like ever, because she's a lot older than any of us would believe. So for 23 years, since 1995, Dolly Parton has had her own program whose name completely escapes me. The Imagination Library, that's what it is. If I'd read the fucking article, the Imagination Library, it donates books to children that have not started school yet. So from the day they're born until they start school, regardless of your income, anything about it, whether you are in the United States of America, Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, you are able to get those books completely for free. No questions asked. You just sign up. I have this kid. They are this age. They were born here, and I would like to have books for them. And Dolly Parton says, sweet, I would like your kids to read books and have access to books. I will send you a book every single month. And just recently, she delivered her 100 millionth book. After she launched in 1995, less than 10 years, she hit 1 million books, and then very shortly after that, she expanded to Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, which just meant the numbers just started flying through the sky, especially because fucking books are awesome, kids are awesome, free books to kids is even better. So this is just awesome. This is very happy, uplifting. It's great. It's a great program. It's just great. It's just one of those positive things that exists in the world that if you have children that are under the age of not in school yet, I know that's not a number. If you have children that are in that age range and you just want books for them, because let's face it, a lot of us are fucking broke and can't always afford books, Dolly Parton will send you a book every month. Just search the Imagination Library, find out how to. God damn it, Chadwick in the chat room says, fucking freeloading children. They're not freeloaders. It's not welfare. It's from a rich person, a rich individual that is paying. I don't know. I think she probably has funding that goes through something else now to pay for all of the books. But either way, it was started by her. She's a very wealthy individual for multiple reasons. And she just wants to see kids have access to books. So, just from us here at the iReadit podcast, thank you very much for this small piece of happiness and sunlight, Miss Dolly Parton, in a world that is otherwise quite negative and grim right now. So, thank you very much. I realize I didn't copy the entire title here. Fuck. Well, good thing I know what the fuck it's supposed to be talking about.
4.
2 members of the Pussy Riot punk group disappear after protests in Crimea. So, Pussy Riot is an all-female punk rock band out of Moscow, Russia. And they're not just a punk rock band, they're also punk is kind of, I'm sure Nathan would love to correct me on this. Punk is, kind of in the idea of being against the organization, the government, etc., and Pussy Riot is much in the same vein. They are, kind of a protest-oriented punk group. They go to and they protest, and they're activists in those regards. They went to Crimea recently to do a performance, as well as a way of protesting the recent imprisonment of Oleg Sentsov. Sentsov, there we go, who was imprisoned in 2014. What was it for? I don't remember. Oh, on alleged terrorism charges. The dude makes movies, and one of his movies was apparently not to the government's liking, so it was incentivizing terrorism because you made a movie. It's like if Mein Kampf was a movie instead of a book. God damn it, Godwin's Law. Didn't even take 7 steps to Hitler. Just one. Straight there. But anyway, he was in prison in 2014 on alleged terrorism charges. They went there to protest that. And then when they were on their way back to Moscow, 2 of them just disappeared. Chadwick asked, did people grab them? I'm asking for a friend. Freedom of speech, baby. It's a wonderful thing. Well, that is a wonderful thing if you're in America. In other places, you are not necessarily protected by those things, and some people might make you disappear because they don't like it. I mean, Alexei Navalny in Russia has disappeared a couple of times. So, in any case, they disappeared while they were in Crimea. They hadn't left yet. Nobody has seen them, although reportedly their Twitter account has claimed that their phones and computers were found and had been broken. So, that looks bad. Nobody knows anything else about this time. But it looks like somebody didn't care for a couple of people that were performing in Crimea in opposition to some things that were going on in the country and just made that problem go away. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Speaking of trying to make problems go away. Nope.
3,
Got it. Women protesting against wearing the hijab in Iran will be charged with inciting prostitution and jailed for up to 10 years. This was submitted... Oh, I forgot. The number 4 regarding Pussy Riot was submitted by Vagenda Omanocide to Our World News. And this one is submitted by I Don't Always Post Here to Our World News. So, Iran's tired of seeing your fucking hair. Ladies, they don't like it. They haven't liked it since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. It has been a requirement that you wear the hijab because otherwise you're just a dirty distraction to men. How could you try to make us feel feelings because of your hair? It's ridiculous as a whole thing. Now, some people really like wearing the hijab. They feel like it's a cultural thing and stuff like that. But in a lot of places, both in the country of Iran, the surrounding countries, and of course around the rest of the world, it is seen as a symbol of the oppression of women. And so there's a lot of people that are against it, trying to fight against it. And in this case, Iran has been one of those places. Well, it used to be, you just get in trouble, maybe go to jail for a couple of months, maybe get a stern talking to, whatever. Iran's done. Authorities in Iran are saying we're no longer going to tolerate this. If you are seen protesting against the hijab, if women are not wearing their hijab, regardless of whether you are from Iran or not, they will take you to prison and put you in jail for up to 10 years under the guise of that you are inciting prostitution. Yeah. So, holy fuck, Iran. Jesus. No, bad. Don't do... No, bad. This is the reason... Well, not the reason. This is one of the reasons why so many people, especially in America, have such a huge problem with cultures in the Middle East because of shit like this. Because if a woman doesn't cover her head with a piece of cloth, that she's going to go to jail for 10 years because that automatically makes her a prostitute. Like, the amount of ridiculous that exists within what I just said is insane. Like, it's really, we've talked several times the last couple of months about the immense strides that Saudi Arabia is making, especially with their crown prince. That crown prince, he's like, I understand that we are ridiculous and that the modern world exists because of... No, I don't know where I was going with that sentence. The modern world is not in the same fashion that Saudi Arabia is, and they would no longer like to be seen in the dark nature that they are. So the crown prince is currently making tons and tons and tons of changes, pushing forward for a progressive change in Saudi Arabia, but that doesn't help people in Iran. Jennifer in the chat room says, no, not Jesus. Maybe they need Jesus. Maybe that's what it is. There's not enough Jesus. Hear that enough. Y'all need Jesus. God. I mean, ultimately, I think saying you need Jesus isn't bad. It's just a lot of the other shit that comes with a lot of those religions that ends up being the thing that people are opposed to. I mean, Jesus, if you just look at Jesus, just Jesus, it's not that bad. It's with, he was a pretty decent dude. He, had a pretty good mindset about how people should be treated. It's just all the other shit that comes around with Jesus that people are like, holy fuck. Also, people are, some people way too into it. Like the extremist Christians, woo, damn. I don't know how you sleep at night. And not because you do bad things, just I don't know how you sleep at night. I would always be pissing myself if, like, because, like, I mean, you eat a hot dog and you've broken 14 rules.
2.
Kushner loses all access to top-secret intelligence. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President of the United States, Donald Trump, married to Ivanka Trump, he had top-secret access to all the White House files, as well as several other members of the White House administration, and, well, a whole bunch of them currently lost that. There isn't an express reason why that has been given, just that their security clearances have been downgraded from top secret to just secret. So they'll still get to see all that secret shit, just not the top secret shit, which actually takes away a lot of the things that he would see, because normally he would read things before the president would read them so that he could, like, brief him on it and however the fuck they talk to one another. But when I read this, I was like, all right. You know, okay. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, in some cases, I feel like the President of the United States shouldn't have top secret clearance, but, you know, I'm pretty sure there's something that says that can't happen. My question is, and I realize that this is, now that I'm thinking about it, this is an irrelevant question since all of the past presidents and White House officials, but, like, it doesn't change the fact of how much he's already seen. Like, the ridiculous amount of stuff that Jared Kushner has had his grimy little fingers in while at the White House, and the number of things that he'll probably end up still seeing because the Trump administration is, like, they're so anti-leak, but they also love sharing their own dirty laundry with one another that I don't know how well this is going to be executed. But the internet thought it was important that he lost his top secret clearance. That's not the reason that he lost it, but they found it important that the news had broken that he had done so. Yeah. But the president still has the ability to give Kushner his top secret clearance back, but Donald Trump said that he would leave that decision to his chief of staff, that is General Kelly, that he believes that General Kelly will make the right decision. The rest of the White House did not give any comment. So Jennifer says, we will see it on Twitter anyway. Hashtag tweet secret clearance. You know, I mean, I remember there was a comic that was going around soon after Trump became president, and they went, "Aw, damn it." And they were like, what's wrong? Area 51, the aliens, we don't have any aliens in Area 51. What, how do you know? Because do you honestly think Trump would be able to keep his fucking mouth shut about that? It would already be on Twitter. And it's like, aw, you're right. Considering, like, Trump would be like, dude, of course, I also imagine, like, there's this book, apparently, every president always leaves a note for the president that is coming after them, and there's also this book that apparently exists about important stuff that the president needs to know. And I don't know if it's actually a book or a briefing folder or whatever. And I can just imagine that, and not specifically for aliens, but you get elected as president, and you get sat down, and you're given that folder of, like, okay, so here's the shit you need to know that exists and is going on in the world. And you just, like, look at it, and you just go, fuck, as your ears just start bleeding out of the insanity that you are introduced to all at once. Chadwick says, I mean, he hasn't tried to put up a space wall, so... I mean, it's because he's letting his rich friend, Elon... Friend? They're not really friends. His rich fellow patriot, Elon Musk, do that for him. Because, I mean, he's got to be concerned about America's money and his money right now. And putting up a space wall would cost a lot of America's money. And he's willing to spend Mexico's money for the border wall, but he can't figure out how to get Mexico to pay for the space wall. So he's going to let Elon Musk with SpaceX pay for the space wall. Got to get to Mars first, though. All right. So that's all the news, by the way. The next two topics we're going to talk about are not so newsy.
1.
Jesus. With all of the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? This was submitted by... That is not correct. It is correct. Interesting. Okay. With all the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? This was submitted by Bill Gates. Yes, Bill Gates, to our Ask Reddit. So, I'm just going to go through some of these of things that, things that people are looking forward to. And these could be things from small things of their own or, actual things. So someone said solar energy, desalination, and G-therapy. Awesome things. Solar energy is great for the entire world. Desalination is great because we're running out of fresh water, but there's shitloads of salt water out there if we could just figure out a good way to process it. And gene therapy is awesome because it's leading to developments of being able to fucking cure us of bad things that exist. That was from user Stars. User 10 million says the possible return of the American chestnut tree is fast-growing, rot resistant, and perhaps most important, it produces enough calories from nuts to feed a population. That is really fucking cool. I also don't know what chestnuts taste like at all. Are they tasty? Have you had chestnuts? I've not had chestnuts. User geothermal heat pumping. Okay. All 7 of my honeybee colonies are surviving the winter, and today we'll be bringing in the first pollen of the year. Also says, please support native bees as well as butterflies like monarchs and bats because they're important to nature. Someone comments that the good news is often quite subtle, the bad news is always loud, so just try to remember that. User The Gnome Magician says, advancement in health studies and science for health have improved living conditions tenfold and continue to do so. It's true. I always get excited when there's a new breakthrough in medical science. You Pro Pancake Man is excited about space because so much is unknown right now and is excited to see what can come from the future. Yeah, that's one of the cool things that Elon Musk with SpaceX has achieved under NASA's program. It cost, I don't remember the exact number, it was something like $53,000 a kilogram to take materials into space. With SpaceX and their new Falcon rockets, if they can get, currently, even under current system, it now costs $47. Not $47,000, $47 a kilogram for payloads to be taken into space. So, thousandths cheaper. What else did people find is good news that they're looking for? User The Manly Banana says, I haven't heard much about ISIS recently, so that's got to be a good sign. Maybe. Might be a good sign. Might just mean that they got more secretive and went further underground. User Then Next Gen says, mental illness awareness is growing rapidly and people are more and more willing to assist those in need. It's true. We need to be aware of mental illness, not because of how many people it affects that don't even know it affects them, but also because it leaves people fucking killing each other. Chadwick says, chestnuts are good roasted over a fire, and says, whatever, now we have to worry about car wrecks in space. It amazes me when there's a story of, like, a plane hitting another plane, and I'm like, you have so much space! How? Also, but the real reason is because a lot of them are on autopilot, did tracks through space. They're not on space, through the sky, and those tracks sometimes cross and they don't get the right information, or they're on the same track when there's not supposed to be, and then bad things happen. What other things are people excited about? The bee population is on the rise. User A Merrier World, oh, that's a very appropriate name, says, I'm reminded of Sam's speech to Frodo in Osgiliath in the Two Towers. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were, and sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something. Even if you were too small to understand why. Folk in those stories had a lot of chances of turning back, when only they didn't, because they were holding on to something. That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and that's worth fighting for. Reruns of Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers. Shared collaborative projects like Wikipedia proving that people are inherently good. People are beginning to realize that things don't change on their own. More people are taking action to help out. It's true. We're seeing a lot of things. Congratulations to user Kuro, who quit smoking today. Plummeting price of solar and wind energy. Those are both awesome things. We're getting closer and closer to a cure for cancer, which is awesome. We've found more and more ways to try and stifle it and slow it down. If we can actually cure cancer, awesome, because that kills way too many people. So yeah, I will ask you, and if you would let us know, send it to us in an email, drop it as a comment on social media. What are you looking forward to in the future, whether it's on a personal level or on a grander scale? What makes you optimistic for tomorrow, for next week, for next month, for next year, for the next decade or the next century, regardless whether we're going to make it there or not? What are you looking forward to? What light shines on the horizon in you and your world? But let's continue forward to the thing I cared about in the last 24 hours. And it's also from Bill Gates. I didn't notice that number one topic was submitted from him, but I'm Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Ask me anything. This was submitted by This Is Bill Gates to our IMA. And, IMA is basically an interview subreddit where people show up and will answer questions. It's really cool. It's an opportunity for people to promote something of their own as well as to get some answers to the people that want to ask them. So, user, because I'm awesome, asks, what are your top 3 goals currently? Mr. Gates responds with, for the foundation, reducing childhood death and malnutrition and ending polio would be the biggest 3 things. For innovation, it would be an energy breakthrough and improving the way we educate kids. For my family, it is making sure the kids are ready to go to college and have a great experience there. I know that is more 3, and I didn't mention my tennis goals yet. User JPFG259 asks, is it possible to make the world economy grow without destroying our planet's resources? Mr. Gates says, yes. Essentially, more resources don't get destroyed. The elements that were here to begin with are still here. Of course, it takes energy to recycle things, but I'm optimistic we'll figure out how to avoid destroying the planet. The number of babies born has already peaked, which will help limit the maximum population size. And, I mean, you can't destroy matter is what he's getting at. So, like, when you burn fossil fuels, everything that made up that fossil fuel in one way or another still exists. So there's ways to... in theory, is ways to recycle anything. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it. User Mossman85 asked, do you miss anything about your time at Microsoft? Mr. Gates says, there was a certain urgency to everything we were doing to stay ahead that meant the speed of activity was very high. I missed this a bit. I had to take think weeks twice a year just to step back and see what the longer-term trends were. Now I work on things like malaria, where I wish there was more competition to solve the problems and things moved faster. That's true. Nobody is interested in something that doesn't make them money. User Anonymous Hero 1 asks, how do you see automation affecting our economy over the next 10 to 20 years? Mr. Gates responds with, automation has been driving productivity ever since the Industrial Revolution, including things like tractors and garment making. With software, this will continue to accelerate, so we need to think about how we educate people for the new jobs that will emerge. Overall, automation is a great thing. Eventually, we won't have to work as much, but we are still at least a generation away from a big change there. User JDunk2145 asks, is a cure for Alzheimer's a real possibility in the near future, and will it be accessible to people on Medicare or Medicaid? Mr. Gates says, there have been a lot of failed Alzheimer's drug trials. The good news is that the new tools we have are helping us understand the disease far better. For example, the role of glial cells. I am optimistic that in the next 20 years we will have drugs to help if we stay focused on including pooling data and helping startups get funded. I am involved in a number of these areas. It's true, we talked about it previously, the amount of money that he just throws at people that are like, I have an idea, and he's like, cool, make it happen. It's great. It's good shit. Last one I'm going to read, maybe. I'm going to take a look at what the next couple are as well. User Eric Partman asks, what technology are you most looking forward to in the next 10 years, and what impact do you think it could have? Mr. Gates says, the most amazing thing will be when computers can read and understand the text like humans do. Today's computers can do simple things like search for specific words, but concepts like vacation or career or family are not understood in the same way. Microsoft and others are working on this to create a actually helpful assistant. Yeah, because Cortana fucking isn't. Siri fucking isn't. Anyway, it has always been a kind of holy grail of software, particularly now that vision and speech are largely solved. Another frontier is robotics, where the human ability to move and manipulate is amazing, and experts disagree on whether it will take just a decade or a lot longer to achieve the equivalent. So basically being able to make something that is able to do as much as a human does. We're getting there, but it's taking a while. Let me see. I'll read two more. I like these next two, and then I'll drop this out. User Useful Shrimp asks, what do you feel/know is one very solvable problem that society, or most likely the government, is ignoring? Mr. Gates says, I think that healthcare costs, education, and poverty/mobility deserve a lot more thinking and innovation than they get today. The benefit of getting these things right would be amazing. With all the talk about inequity, it is interesting that we still work on vertical areas like health, education, housing, food, etc. as separate things rather than having a full view of challenges someone faces. Yeah, people should have a home, people should have access to healthcare, people should have enough money to eat. Like, there's just things that as a human being with the modernized world you should just have access to. Food and shelter and proper medicine are three of the best ones. Big ones. Yeah, and with shelter I include things like heat, electricity, etc. Anyway, the last question. Hey Bill, you by user King of the Monsters. Hey Bill, how much do you know about quantum computing, and is Microsoft delving into that field? Mr. Gates says, I spent a month learning the math behind quantum computing with help from the Microsoft team and lots of online course material. I wanted to understand how quantum computers could factor numbers so much faster than normal computers. It is amazing how the matrix math with complex numbers work. Nature is doing arbitrary computation, but it is tricky to access. These are the early days, but yes, Microsoft is making large investments in quantum, particularly in handling the error problems that most approaches have. Quantum shit is crazy and weird and cool. Quantum entanglement is even cooler and strange and fucking weird. They managed... I understand what it is, but I still don't understand how the fuck it works. Because one of the things that they managed to do, not Microsoft, some other company managed to pull off, in the idea of quantum entanglement, is the idea behind taking, I think it was a proton, or something like that. It was some sort of atom, and splitting it so that it would be the same atom, and it's literally the same atom that exists in two places, and you take them to separate areas, and if you change one, the other one that is in no way connected to it will change to match it. And that, like, with zero delay, happens in real time, and it makes my head hurt. Because, like, it essentially just, like, they made that happen. They made that actually happen. They split a fucking proton, or whatever the fuck it was, took it to two separate areas, because they launched one of them in, like, fucking space or some shit, changed it, and managed to get the other one to change at the exact same time without doing anything to it, because it has to maintain the exact same state as the other one, because they're the exact same fucking thing. And my brain goes, I understand why that, like, that concept of these are the same thing. So therefore, if you change one, the other one has to change too. And that allows instant communication regardless of distance. But my brain cannot even begin to fathom how the connection exists without without just completely shattering the grasp on reality and physics and science that I have. It ruins my brain of, like, that shouldn't be possible. Well, we've proven that it is. Fuck. And then my brain just goes, because I don't know. That's how it works. I can tell you how it works, but not why it works. Just that it does. We're not good at it yet. We can't, like, send data with it yet. We'll get there. We've proven that it's possible, which is fucking nuts. It's like, even trying to talk about it hurts my brain and hurts my head, because it shouldn't work that way, but it does. It also just, like, proves that there is a level of reality and existence in the world around us that we cannot grasp, interact with, see, etc., because there is something, well, I guess maybe there doesn't have to be, but there is, my brain says there's got to be something in some way that connects those two atoms so that one has to match the other one. We just can't see it. But maybe not. I don't know. I don't get it. But I don't have to get it. It's not my job to get it. Somebody else can get it. Someone else can perfect it, make it awesome, and then we can communicate with people on Mars faster than I can call you on a landline here. Hell, you could be in another fucking galaxy, and it would work. 'Cause holy fuck. Just realized a problem. No, not with anything relevant. A problem with a video game I played previously. Anyway. That's it, everybody. We're going to get the fuck out of here. We'll see if Nathan is back tomorrow. If you would like to support this show, if you want to send us a Christmas gift, a birthday gift, whatever, that support can be done on patreon.com/dailyinternet. If you're like, you know what, I like those guys, I'd be willing to buy them like a $10 gift for Christmas or for their birthday. Boom, $1 a month on Patreon means $12 a year, which is a present to us. Thank you very much for helping this show and keeping it growing and supporting it and paying off all the shit that requires it, because Nathan needs a new computer. So thank you. If you all do support us currently or are going to support us in the future, patreon.com/dailyinternet. Thank you so much. Otherwise, follow and share us, help the show grow through social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those are at iReaditCast. You can also catch the show's video versions live as well as archived on Facebook and YouTube. We do go live at 6 p.m. Alaska time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Nope. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Always, though, you can download the episodes, the audio-only versions of the show, on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Blueberry, Podcatcher, basically anywhere you can get it. That's it. That is it. That is your 436th dose of the Internet. I am Michael Schwahn. Nathan will possibly be back tomorrow. I don't know. But all I know is that...
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Have a good day, everybody.